Good morning, guys. It is Flossy Friday. Today is April 2nd, which blows my mind that we're already into April. Welcome back if you've been around for a while, and welcome if you're new. Okay, let's just dive in. The cats are doing great. This week has been trials and tribulations at work, but I gave myself a long weekend, so anyways, it ended on a really good note, which is fantastic. So next week should be really good and smooth sailing. So this week I didn't stitch for 3 days, so I don't have a finish for you today, but I am very close. It will happen this week for sure, because I spent 3 days working on cutting out my quilt. I went to the quilt store last Saturday, and I got the rest of the fabric that I needed for my quilt. Well, almost. I had to go to my local quilt shop on Monday because I ran out of muslin, but I didn't know how much I was gonna need, so I kind of like waited until I ran out so that way I knew how much to get. So I purposely did that. But as far as the fabric line goes, I went to the quilt store about 35 minutes down south and got the fabrics that she had in stock that I wanted. Okay, so I'm gonna show you some of my blocks, but I still have a stack left to finish. So we'll just talk about the quilt first because that's literally sitting right here. So I still have to put together the lattice blocks. I have 8 of them finished out of 54. So this is what they look like, just like an X, and you're supposed to like rotate them. I don't know if I'm going to rotate them or not because I'm not making a lattice quilt. I'm using the lattice block. So this is the block that inspired the entire quilt, and I expanded on it and customized it and changed it, which my drawing is on the other side of the room, but I showed it in last week's video. So, but the concept of it is you're supposed to like rotate them so that way it looks like they're like weaved. I don't know if I'm going to rotate them or not. I'm not really sure. I might, because some of my dot blocks are kind of like the same way. And I did my dots in the striped fabric because I thought that like having too much piecing of stripes, if they didn't line up, would drive me absolutely bonkers. But I forgot to turn the 4.5 squared blocks. So some of them I may have to turn and not really worry about it. So I may do that for these just so that way it looks less odd, but I also don't really care. I just don't. So all of this is to finish making the lattice block. So this is the lattice block. And so I have my muslin squares, and then I have my short cuts, and then you have long cuts right here. And I had started just putting muslin on the one side. So this one, you put muslin on each side of the short cut, and then you cut it down the middle, and then you take those cuts and put them on each side of a long cut. So that's how these ones are built. So I've got to finish getting all of these put on here on each side so that way I can cut them and then I can put the block together. But I was working on it last night. Ashley came over and she's working on some unicorns, crocheting some unicorns. And so I was working on this because I needed to finish cutting my muslin, and then I was like, oh, I need to just start at least doing the shorts. So that's what I did. But I do have, I'm making 2 of the fabrics. So I have this one done, this one done, and these haven't been ironed yet, so they do look wonky. I'm gonna iron everything at one time, including the big blocks, because I'm gonna have to iron the muslin with the shorts before I cut them in half to sew them, and then I'm gonna have to iron them again. So I'm sewing all of those, and then I'm gonna iron everything that still needs to be ironed, finish the blocks, iron them, and then all the blocks will be done, and then I can start putting my quilt together. And I'm gonna have 2 extra of these. So what I was gonna do, because I needed 54 and I'm gonna end up making 56. So 1 full set isn't going to be done, or 2 full sets isn't gonna be done of some fabric. And so those leftover blocks, or maybe I will pick like a set, maybe. They're going to be a part of one of the throw pillows that I make. So there's that one is done, and then my favorite fabric, the binding fabric, that one is done. And oh, those are T blocks. So those are the 8 that I have done, and this is what I have left to do. So I'm getting there. Okay, so then we have the T blocks. There's 19 T blocks. And I worked on those over the weekend at Ashley's, because we hung out Saturday and Sunday, and I got all of my T blocks done. So these are the T blocks. I love them. And then I also, over the weekend, got all of my dots finished. So the dots are like these, so that's what I was saying, like, which the ginghams don't matter directional wise, but the stripes do. So both of the stripe ones, what I wanted to do, and I just forgot to do it honestly, is I wanted to make one like this and then flip this block, so that way they could be pieced the same direction, but the stripes would be different. So for like the stripe ones, I may put them in the quilt this direction. And I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, they're all 10 by 10 square, so size-wise, it's not like it's a problem. And then this is my corner block. And then like I showed y'all before, or maybe not, that I know I showed on Instagram, I have plain muslin 10 by 10s, and then I have 22, so I have 22 plain ones and 22 full print blocks for the outer, so that's where I'm at with my quilt. This next week, I will be putting time into my quilt. Probably Monday, whenever I get back into town. My goal, I have to mow the yard and go to the garden centers. The local feed store and the garden center, and I'm gonna buy the rest of my vegetables for my garden and get that going, so that way, because some of the veggies that I want to plant, I really need to get them planted like now. And so I'm gonna do that on Monday, and then probably that evening finish these blocks. May or may not hang out with Ashley to do that. If not, I'm just gonna do it at my house. But I want to probably get these blocks done on Monday, because I won't get to work on this over the weekend. I'm going home for Easter, and I'm only gonna take cross stitch with me. So I feel good making Monday a quilting day. And then Ashley and I, once we get all of our blocks finished, we're going to go up to the quilt store, because there's a classroom, and there is a giant section in the front of the classroom where we think it's big enough for us to lay this quilt fully out, hers and mine, just for like block placement. and then we can pick them up in the row orders, so that way we can put the top together. So that may happen in the next week or so. So that's really exciting. And I'm just gonna really quickly talk about a little bit of haul that I got, and then we'll get into stitching. I know that I'm doing this backwards this week, but it just is what it is. I still have a lot to do before I can leave today, and I need to get this uploaded before I get on the road. So it is what it is. Okay, so I ordered some ribbon from Lady Dot Creates on Etsy. Her stuff is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, she like hand dyes like velveteen and stuff like that for backings, to finish cross stitching and stuff like that, or whatever you want to use it for. But a lot of designers and finishers use her velvet and whatnot to make little pillows, and she makes trim and stuff like that with the little, I know that there's like more of like a fuzzy one, and then there's the one with the little dots, but you can separate the dots and like hand whip stitch that onto a pillow. And then she has like ribbons and stuff. So I ordered 2 of each, but she accidentally forgot to put the second of each one in my order, and she's already sent it to me. The day that I got it, I just called her because in your package she puts like her direct line number to call her if any questions, comments, concerns, whatever. And so I just called her, and she pulled up my order, and I said, I'm so sorry, I only sent 1. So she's already put it in the mail, so I should get it this week. But I got this one. This one is called Meow Woof, and it's just cute little paw prints. And then this one is the vintage ruler 1/2 inch. So it's super cute ruler ribbon. And I have, I know exactly what this is gonna get used for. And then this, I think I know what it's gonna get used for, but I don't know when. But anyways, I got 1 of each, and it's 2 yards. So there's 2 continuous yards of each ribbon in these packages. So I got 2 of each, and they were $6 for 2 yards. And what else? She also has like laces and stuff like that, like hand-dyed laces and whatnot. One of her more popular laces I know is Dirty Face, and I have some of that. I got it in a kit. It's so nice. So there's that. Okay, so the only project that I worked on is Fruit of the Month. And last week I finished my kiwi, and this week I finished my orange and my lemon, and all that I have left is my grapefruit. So that is where I'm at. This is by the Frosted Pumpkin. This is the Fruit of the Month Club. This was their first ever stitch along, and yes, you can still get it on their website. And I am stitching this on an 18 count Picture This Plus Whirlpool Ada. It's really early in the morning, and it's 7:30, and I've been up since 5 because I just couldn't sleep. So anyways, here's my little lemon. It's so cute. The little back stitched slices. It's so adorable. I love it. And then there is my orange. And then the grapefruit has a ton of confetti. So I'm trying to get all of the dots, all the speckles, so that way I can switch back to the main color. But there's just so much little speckles. There's like 4 colors of speckles in the grapefruit. So, or I think the grapefruit is made up of 5 colors, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, five colors. So, I have to finish this speckle. There's some right up here, and then there's this color, and that's along this side, and then speckled here like randomly, but it like full over here, and then speckles. And then there's one more color that has random speckles, and then the rest is this color right here. And the thing is like, you might not be able to like see it, but the orange, there are little, oh, you can kind of see a couple here and there. There are little dots in the orange, like where, you know, like the rind is like bumpy and there's like speckles, but you can see the color difference in the lemon, but you can't see it. You can see it in certain like you can see some of them, but they're harder to see. So the colors definitely are different, but they blend so well that it's hard to like see. So like these look very different like right now, but as I start like filling them in, that's why I'm doing the speckled colors now, because they just start blending in like so well, and you kind of forget that you're supposed to do a different color, honestly. So anyways, this is where fruit of the month is. This is going to get finished this week. I know that I'm gonna, you know, give a lot of time to my quilt. I am also, well, I'll come back to that thought. So I'm giving a lot of time to my quilt, but I want to see it done so bad. And but I also really enjoy cross stitch. But so I don't know. It's kind of like Ashley can quilt for like 3 hours and then switch to crochet. Like if whatever I'm working on, I get like fully immersed, and I have to spend like all 5 hours cross stitching or all 5 hours sewing. I can't go between each one for like an hour to an hour and a half and like do 4 different crafts in the same day. It's just not, it's not what I enjoy. I like dedicating that whole day to that craft, which some of the days that I quilted with Ashley, I did cross stitch during the day, like on like my lunch break at work, and then in the evening we hung out and I worked on sewing. So that's kind of like different because it's not a continuous chunk of time, if that makes sense. Anyways, this is going home with me this weekend. I'm going to be working on the grapefruit, and it is going to get done because I'm so excited to see it done. And yes, grapefruit is happening. And because you have to travel with more than one project just in case you finish it, and since that one is close to finishing, that's a reality, and I'll be back home for more than a day. So I'm also going to be taking home my Britter Kitty monthlies. And so these are all the colors for the March and April block. I really wanted to get both of those done in March, but you know, stuff happens. I started a quilt and I was trying to get fruits done. It is what it is. So anyways, these are the colors for March and April. So I'm going to take these home with me because it would be fun to work on these, but I'm also, just in case I'm not feeling this these patterns, I'm also going to take home my All Across Texas, and because this is, I know that like Witches of Salem is really close to being finished, but I really, really do want to work on this one, and Witches of Salem will obviously still be there. And it's still on the table. It's still in the priority pile right now. But I really want to work more on this. I love this piece so much. This is on a custom 32 count Lugana with a custom picture printed on it. And you can do wedding photos, baby photos, whatever you want through Rogue Cross Stitch. And they do custom printing on their sunflower print fabrics. You get to pick the count size and everything, and It's fantastic. Go check them out. I did a video about it in November, I think, here on YouTube and on my Instagram. So go check them out. And anyway, so that pattern is by Redbird Designs. She is a Houston area designer. And pretty much everything that she designs is Texas related. So if you're looking for Texas patterns, I think she's exclusively carried at 3 Stitches in Spring, Texas. I think. You might be able to find her other places, but I know that they carry all of her stuff because I think that's her like base store. So I'm not fully sure. I've been told that she's exclusive to them by the owner. I have no idea. So I'm going to take these with me and fruits. So fruits will get finished this weekend, and one of these will get worked on. And then, so these are going to be, after fruits is done, this is going to be what I work on this week. It's going to be March and April cats and Texas. So that's the plans for this upcoming week. And I can't believe that it's April. I hope that y'all have been doing well. I've just been sewing and working on my fruits because I really want them done. I want to get them, I want to frame them, and that's one of the other things that I'm doing this weekend is we're going to the frame store. So I'm taking both of those paintings and the baby quilt. I don't know if all of them are going to get framed because it depends on how much it costs, but I can at least get the cost. Sorry, Stella just came up to me and just went to my leg twice and then ran off. I don't know. I can at least get them priced and figure out like if I only want to get one done right now, or the 2 paintings and wait on the quilt, or do I want to go ahead and get the quilt done and wait on the paintings. So but at least I can get them priced, pick out the frames that I want. At least one thing is going to get done. I just don't know which item yet. It depends on the cost and how much I'm wanting to spend right now on that because I have other things coming up. So, anyways, but I can at least get, like I said, price, picked out the frames, and so that way whenever I'm ready to do the next one, I have all the information of what I want, and I can just take it and be like, this is what we picked out last time. That's what I want. So, back to the quilt really fast, and this may be funny or intriguing to some of you. So at our quilt store here in town, one of our quilt guild friends was about to quilt a quilt on the long arm that you can rent at our store. Like you can rent it for the day or whatever and quilt in the store. Obviously you can't take it home. And so, anyways, Jeanette was putting on a, like a slightly oversized throw. But she's getting trained to use a particular type of machine that is a sit down machine, but that you can quilt on. And I've said that I really want this quilting to be really simple. Like my idea for it is just to have like giant X's going through the whole thing. And that's it. I don't want to have a panto or anything like that because I want this to be obviously a new quilt, but I want it to look as if it was made in the 70s. And pantos and like super fancy quilting if it was a thing, it was not widespread, it was not popular yet. So I want it to look like somebody made it in the 70s. That's what I want. Like for at home, that's what I want. So, but she won't be able to do that until June, and she has no idea what her pricing will be for it yet because she has to go through training and all kinds of stuff to be able to do it for other people. Or she also can train you to do it and you rent the machine for a day. I don't know if I want to wait that long. But also, I'm kind of intrigued. I was looking up, because I've hand quilted before, but small things. And I have really good, like, I have a really decent ability to like keep my stitches concise and small and all that kind of stuff, like traditional hand quilting. I'm not bad at it. But I've also been looking into big stitch quilting, and it uses 8 weight or 12 weight, like Aurifil, DMC Pearl Cotton. I forget the names of the other brands, but other brands that come like this and stuff. So I'm looking into getting a cone of Aurifil, and I don't know if I want to do 8 or 12 weight or what color I want to do. So I've got to go to my local store and just look at the colors of the Aurifil so I know what to order, or ask her if she can order me a cone. But I'm really honestly tempted to quilt it big stitch quilting style, because you can make it as full coverage or not full coverage as you want. And I'm really thinking about it. So it's possible that, yes, will this still probably take me into the summer? It is possible. Will it take away from some cross stitching? Of course it will. But I'm really intrigued and curious about hand quilting it myself. However, something that Jeanette was telling us that she can do is she can machine baste my quilt for me to either do it by hand or wait for the use of that sit down quilting machine, where it's unguided, like basically free motion quilting. So I just have to find out how much it is to have it basted. And if it's like $50 or less to have it basted by somebody else, by a machine, so like I don't have to baste it myself, I might be hand quilting this. But because if it's gonna cost $100 or something to have it machine basted, I might as well just save up another $150 and have it actually just quilted. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I've got to find out that as well and then make my decision. But I'm kind of honestly thinking about hand quilting this in the big stitch style. And you can check that hashtag out like on Instagram, because I was looking at that. I also looked up big stitch quilting like as like a search in YouTube, and I found some videos about it where they talk about like what kind of thread to use and all that kind of stuff, and like different, you can also see how like people do it differently. So like some people will just do like the lines up and down, some will do like lines and then do like an X and then do more lines, and then some of them are close or wider. Some people will just go like around like borders like this and then leave all that open, which then whenever you wash it, it gives you even more of like the old vintagey look, because there's more areas for it to like pocket and stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at. But it also, depending on how much it is to do the basting for me, I have another quilt that is with 30 prints and muslin that I've needed quilted for a long time. So depending on how much it is to baste, that would be a really awesome technique for a 30s print quilt as well. So I may get 2 quilts basted depending on the price and slowly work on hand quilting them in big stitch style. So that's like where I'm at with the quilts and with my cross stitch for this week. I've had a lot of thoughts this week. The quilting and the cross stitching have definitely been an escape this week because work. It's been fun. Like my actual project corrupted 3 times and I had to restart 3 times. Well, restart from like a certain point, because we could restore we could restore the file up to a certain day. So I redid the same work 3 times. I got faster every time though. The first time it took 9 hours. The second time it took 5 or 6. And this last time it only took 4. So I got faster. The issue is now solved, but it was a very long and stressful week. So anyways, I hope that y'all had a fantastic week. I hope that y'all have an amazing Easter and a great week coming up. And I will see y'all next Friday. Bye, guys.